Hi, I'm Tom Tezak, and I'm a realtor here on Maui. And I'm going to do a review from a realtor's perspective on the Porsche Panamera. You know, this is a great car, and I've not really been a Porsche fan in my life, but a friend of mine was telling me when I was looking for a car to replace my sedan, my Acura RL, he said, you should look at the Panamera. I said, what the heck is a Panamera? He said, it's a brand new four-door sedan by Porsche. So anyway, I went online and checked it out. Now, living in Maui, Hawaii, we don't have any Porsche dealers here. The closest one is over on Oahu. So after looking at it online and really falling in love with what it had to offer, I took a look at it over in Oahu and said, wow, this is really a fabulous car. I sat in it, got in the back seat, which is what I make my clients do, so I thought it's important for me to do that too. With the 4 bucket seats in this car, it makes it an incredibly comfortable vehicle to cruise around in. Ventilated seats, which are just sort of the dream when it comes to being in Maui in this tropical environment and warm all the time. It's also a heck of a lot of fun to drive. With the PDK 7-speed transmission, it's only the V6, which actually I thought, well, that's plenty of vehicle for me. In Maui, we really don't have any super highways. But even though it's plenty, you find yourself still wanting a little bit more power. So I would love to try to drive that V8, maybe even that turbo someday. But right now we're going to stick with the V6 and see how it goes. Obviously, no car is perfect, and you know, Porsche may think they've done everything right, but I don't agree with them completely. So a couple things that I do find that are a little challenging with the Porsche Panamera is storage. You know, it's a 4-door sedan. I'm a businessman. I need to use this car. It's very difficult to find a place to put my sunglasses, to put some of my paperwork. Also, I find with the V6 that when I'm accelerating off of the line, I get a little bit of a hesitation. That's you know, it's no big deal. Once it's moving, it's flying, and I appreciate that. But every once in a while, I get a bit of a hesitation off of the line. You know, the car in the cockpit has lots of buttons. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? And I think it's both. I think sometimes when you're cruising and you're trying to navigate through the controls, it could be a little bit cumbersome, but all in all, it gives you so many choices and so many great options. I think that's sort of a middle of the road issue, not necessarily a pro or a con. And you know, so far, after driving this for a month now, that's all the cons I've got. So what do you say we fire this baby up, get this thing going, and go for a little ride down the roads of Maui and Makena? Come on, let's go! One of the cool things about this, when I ordered it, I actually ordered it from North Carolina, from Andrew Hall at Porsche of Hickory. They were fabulous. They gave me a great deal. It was worth the time to take and the effort to ship it from North Carolina all the way to Maui. Unfortunately, the Honolulu dealer didn't have any of the V6s in their lot, and they weren't getting any in for several months, so I chose to have it shipped in from the mainland. As I was actually waiting for the car to get here, I was talking to a friend of mine, one of my clients, who was formerly a Porsche engineer. And he was telling me about his old job, and he shared with me that he really did love the Porsche. And I asked him why. And when I was talking to him, he said, well, it's sort of like in a Porsche, you just think turn and the car turns. And I laughed and said, yeah, right. Well, I gotta tell you something. This car, you think turn and it turns. And it's got 2 seats behind you that you can put your clients in. All the seats in this car are just wrap around, you sit in them, and it just feels like it's grabbing you. I think that's a telltale sign of the Porsche though. But the other neat thing is the rear seats will also fold down. Plenty of room for my signs, my real estate signs. I do a lot of open houses while I work out here in Maui. By the way, golf clubs fit too. The car inside is so quiet that it's unbelievable. Back to being a realtor, taking people around, being able to communicate, talk about what I'm showing them is spectacular. A couple of the other things in the car, the Porsche navigation. I've used some other navigation before, and it is sometimes cumbersome. This is simple. I hadn't used it before. I had clients in the car. I started programming where I wanted to go, and it immediately took over. Yeah, I was up in the hillsides of Maui, trying to find a really remote location, and it got me right to the front door. The cockpit in this car is unbelievable. When I was looking for vehicles to buy, I was at the Cadillac dealership, and we were looking at the CXI or whatever the heck they put out. And the car salesman said, well, what else are you looking at? I said, well, I'm looking at the Panamera. And he just looked at me and smiled and he said, wow, that's like sitting in the cockpit of a Learjet. Well, I got to tell you something. It really feels like the cockpit of a jet because the control panels, everything the way it's set up is pretty fabulous. They put an active screen right in the center dash console, right next to your TAC and your mileage. It's a really spectacular car. That's the pros for the car. There's many more, I'm sure. I really do enjoy driving this car. If you come to Maui and you want to check it out, give me a call. My number is 808-280-2055. If you want to buy some real estate on Maui, obviously I appreciate quality and I'd help you find a piece of quality real estate here on Maui. I work mostly in the South Maui district and oceanfront. My name is Tom Tezak. Again, give me a holler at 808-280-2055, or you can email me, tom@tomtezak.com. Go to my website, www.tomtezak.com, and check it out. Be happy to help you out, but I'd love to talk with you. If you got any questions about this car or whether or not you should buy one, just give me a holler. I'd be happy to help.